On the evening of September 24th, a branch of the Interior Ministry tasked with counterintelligence and eliminating dissent detained me. They suspected that I was an operative of the CIA. It wasn't funny at the time. The next day I was interrogated for about 5 hours, and at the end of that time, the officers were not satisfied with my answers, and I was sent back to my holding cell with my fate uncertain. No one was aware of my circumstances, not my family back in Honduras where I lived at the time, nor the organization back in Nashville that had sent me. Then to my surprise, God sent me an angel, dressed as a cleaning woman, who opened the door to my cell, handed me my passport, and told me that I could leave. And just like that, I got up and I walked out of a detention center in Cuba as if I'd never been there. At 5 o'clock in the evening, I began the long 12-hour drive back to Havana and was able to make my 8 a.m. flight out of Cuba the next day. It wasn't until I felt the tires of that jet break contact with the runway that it finally hit me. When it did, it came over me like a flood. See, the circumstances of my freedom, they didn't make sense back then. They don't make sense today. I was guilty of the charges against me. I was given a freedom that I didn't deserve, and it had come from someone who I didn't know. So back in 2008, Mission Lazarus was already putting down roots in Honduras. By this time, I'd already been living there for about 7 years, and our ministry was gaining momentum. At the time, we were more of a para-church type ministry. We were committed to doing good things alongside the local church. We weren't necessarily the ones that were going to be out sharing the good news ourselves. And then a singular event at an isolated outpost in a detention center in Cuba changed my trajectory and that of Mission Lazarus's forever. I grew up in a Christian home. We went to church 3 times a week. I was baptized when I was 12. I was a pretty good person. Sure, I sinned and I would pray for forgiveness, but I wasn't too concerned. Then all of a sudden I became painfully aware of the wages of my sins, or rather the consequences of my crimes in Cuba. And then by no doing of my own, I was given freedom. It was all forgiven. And that's when I truly came to understand the freedom, the abundance that I had in Jesus.
Amen.
Today, I want everyone who I meet to know the Jesus that I know, the Jesus who gives sight to the blind and who sets the oppressed free. And that's the heart behind everything that we do at Mission Lazarus today.
Amen.
We strive to do this through educational, medical, economical, and spiritual development initiatives. But similar to how there are many ways to go about business in the marketplace, there's also many ways to go about ministry. Just a few weeks ago, some of our staff, as I mentioned, were in Haiti. And unfortunately, the only flight to get into Cap Haitian is on Spirit Airlines. And I'm thankful that this service exists. I'm thankful that we were able to take advantage of it. But if there were another option available, if there was another option other than Spirit Airlines, I would never choose Spirit Airlines. You know, for the business traveler who's frequently on a plane, Spirit Airlines isn't a long-term, sustainable solution. It's a quick fix when you're in a pinch.
Yep.
In ministry, it's like giving away a big bowl of rice every week as a tool to fill up your church building. Don't get me wrong, there'll be plenty of poor families that'll be very thankful for that bowl of rice that they receive every week. But if there was another option available, if there was an option that didn't mean they had to come for a free handout at church, many of those families would prefer that other option.
That's right.
For a ministry that's committed to doing work and doing life for the long term in the developing world, we will never use giving away bowls of rice as a tool to fill up a church building, because it's not a long-term sustainable solution. Our economical, educational, and medical outreaches are finding solutions to the very essence of the problem that are oftentimes so visible, those symptoms that we witness throughout the developing world. We're able to find these solutions while at the same time eliminating 3 of the key factors that are driving people from rural communities to immigrate elsewhere: a lack of education opportunities, a lack of medical care, and a lack of job opportunities. Our medical outreach is helping 3,500 patients every year control their chronic diseases rather than coming back to a clinic month after month to get medicine to treat the same symptoms. And they're investing in their own health care. In 2024, we'll have about $15,000 in revenue from our patients alone. Our K-12 academies in Haiti and in Honduras are equipping some 400 students with marketable skills so that they will be able to earn a gainful employment, so they'll be able to provide for their families, and so they'll be able to dream about a brighter future and dream about a brighter future at home.
Amen.
And our economic development initiatives, in particular our leather goods company, Lazarus Artisan Goods, and our coffee company, San Lazaro Coffee, are creating jobs that pay a thrivable wage in economically depressed communities, while at the same time providing us with a sustainable tool that we can use to disciple our team on their journey of faith and help them to grow stronger. All 3 of these things are noble, good things to be a part of. Good people's lives are being transformed. The chains of generational poverty are being broken. And that's a really good thing to invest in. However, unless we're able to use those things to build relationships that allow us, that create for us a space where we can challenge people in their faith and help them know Jesus intimately, then we don't want to be a part of it. To date, we've been able to share the good news with over 100,000 people. Tonight, we're hoping that you all will help us as we strive to reach the next 100,000. Our commitment is to invest every dollar that God sends us in a way that maximizes a return on that investment through a life and an eternity that are transformed. And a life that is transformed is a life that can thrive, and that can thrive at home.
That's right.
We hope that everyone here tonight who's not already a donor of Mission Lazarus will become a donor. That would be great. But more than that, we hope that a lot of you all will want to become partners, because we want you to see where that money is invested, and we want you to see the return on that investment. We do monthly vision trips to Honduras. It's a quick 3-day trip, 1 day on the front end and 1 day on the back end, and you can see all of our ministry initiatives spread across some very remote and isolated areas. We visit them in a helicopter, and so you're able to get back to the U.S. really quick and see our unique approach that is not only changing people's lives, it's looking for the root causes of why people got in these situations in the first place. So tonight we have a big number that we would like to raise, and we would like for you all to help us do that. We'd like to raise $500,000 tonight. And that's not just $500,000 to drop into a black hole somewhere. That's $500,000 that will be deployed directly overseas. $150,000 towards our education outreach in Haiti. $150,000 to our education outreach in Honduras. $100,000 towards our children's home project in Honduras. $50,000 for our medical outreach, and $50,000 for our spiritual development outreach. And I think that for people that are savvy and have wanted to do a good thing with their money for a long time, but have been told over and over that this problem is going to be solved, and the problem is never solved, just the money keeps going out, I think you will be very, very touched to come and join us on this journey to transform lives now and for eternity. Thank you.